It's time for some damn good tacos and college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchy's Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchy's is the place. Torchy's location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchy's has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchy's has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.
Can't hear you, man.
Sorry about that, y'all. And good evening, Razorback Nation. It is May 22nd, 2025, and welcome to the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Jason Pattison. Thank you. Big thank you to Torchy's Tacos, locations in Fayetteville and Rogers, and also including the Bulldog tonight.
Yeah, got a special guest tonight.
Hey, man, as long as he's willing to participate, I'm all for it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on all of the videos and podcasts that we have with Dudley, Otis, Kevin, and Marshall. Special thank you to Carbless Cocktails. You can try any of their different flavors that Carbless has to offer. They are 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 100 calories. They do have all sorts of vodka flavors and also tequila as well. So you can find those exclusively over at Torchy's Tacos or at any major retail grocer. Be sure to stop by Torchy's Tacos. I do believe that they still have the Tokyo Drift, which is an incredible pork taco. Make sure to try that. And also stop by any one of the 2 locations in Fayetteville or Rogers. If you're heading down to Baum Walker next weekend or down to Bogle this weekend, make sure to stop by because Torchy's is literally right down the road from both of those complexes. Try those with any of their great tacos they have on the board in the back. Pair that with their house-made queso that's made fresh daily, and open up your taste buds to a whole new world. Otis, I'm going to tell you what. Last night, and I know that we're kind of going off topic for a second, but I feel like this is pertinent. The New York Knicks got nicked last night because they did that to the Celtics the entire series, and then last night they got boogered.
I could not believe that. I was watching it, and it was 14 down with like a 2.5 minutes to go or something, Yeah. And I'm thinking, man, they're beating. And Indiana started shooting threes and making them all. Man, that was unreal. And I thought Halliburton's shot was the winner, and then as he did, and everybody else, and then his toe was on the line. They made the correct call, but still, that was unreal, man. I mean, I still think it's New York and Oklahoma City in the finals, but who knows, man? The Pacers, they don't quit. Those guys, and they got so many. They got a bunch of versatile players. They may not have, depending on what you think about Halliburton. Yeah. I don't think they've got like a superstar, but man, they've got Halliburton. They've got Miles Turner. They've got
Smith.
Yeah, the guy hit that shot last night. They've got. I mean, they've just got, the list goes on and on. And the guy they got from Toronto, his name's escaped me for a second. And then they got Mathurin, who the Lakers are looking at and trying to steal.
Yeah.
But they've got a deep squad, and if I'm finding out nothing else, you got to have a deep squad in these playoffs, man. You've got to have a deep team. You can't win with 5 or 6 players.
No, and that's what I think that, and I know that as you like to call him, the Auburn donut eater, Charles Barkley was talking about last night, was that you saw a New York Knicks team that was completely spent because they've been playing. They've had a rotation of 7 or 8 guys this entire season. minus any of the injuries, and Tibbs keeps trotting out those same 7, eventually that's going to wear out. And I think that you're seeing with Indiana's depth, it's going to prove to be killer at the end.
Tibbs does that, man. That's just his style of coaching. Mm-hmm. I mean, JJ, that's too much of that for my liking. He does a 9-man rotation. And one problem, though, with the Lakers this year, they didn't have 9 good. They didn't have about 2. They didn't have a good bench. They've got to get a better bench. They've got to get a center. Everybody talking about there's this and that. If they get a center and then just upgrade the bench, they're going to be a lot better. They got to get at least a center, maybe 2. You got to get a difference maker at center. To me, they got to get Gafford or Nick Claxton. They got to get one of those 2 or somebody else. But those are the 2 I like the best. But there's others. But and then they got to take advantage of a team like Indiana that's trying to cut some salary. They're going to give Miles Turner a big contract. They've got to. But they're going to let some of the guy like Benedict Mathurin, they're going to trade him to get him off that, and that's why the Lakers are trying to pounce on him. And Connect's got some more years on the rookie contract, which would fit in with Indiana's salary. People call the Lakers cheap, but man, they got the 5th highest payroll in the NBA.
Yeah,
cheap, and they're not going to go over the second apron. They're going to stop at first. They're right up against that second apron. They will be next year, but But yeah, I mean, that was a great game, man. I mean, they've all been great. There's going to be another one tonight.
And the Bulldog is agreeing with you tonight too. I can see it in his face.
He beats them up. He beats up bears. He beats up dogs. He got what was the Pancake? Was the Bulldog he beat up last night on TV? Bulldog.
Oh my gosh,
he beat up Pancake. Yeah, he beat up Pancake. So, yeah, he watches a little TV too. He likes it.
Yeah, a friend of mine, I was over at a clinic yesterday doing a rep lunch, and her dog, she's got a little bull or boxer, baby boxer.
They're good dogs.
I think 12 weeks old. Anyway, the dog's laying on the ground watching the iPad. I would not have believed it unless she took a picture of it and sent it to me, what she did. Yeah. I thought, that's the funniest damn thing I ever saw.
Oh, he gets up here on the edge of the bed, and when he gets serious and gets mad, he gets up on the edge of the bed. He'll beat them up, and then he beats up bears and dogs and cats and possums and deer and everything else. He don't care, but yeah, he'll fight. But he is heavy. Now,
oh my God, we're gonna keep him away from Bogle Park this weekend because you got some you got Hottie Toddy coming into Bogle Park to take on the Arkansas Bogle Bombers this weekend in the the Fayetteville Super Regional. They moved the time up because of the weather. It will start at 11 a.m. first pitch on tomorrow. And then I do believe it's still set for 8 p.m. on Saturday. And then Sunday is going to be TBD if they need Sunday.
Yeah, maybe they won't need Sunday. maybe they can get by tomorrow with the weather, win, and then get that game in Saturday and win it, and not have to worry about it. But, actually, Dudley's going to take softball tomorrow since you're working, and I'm going to take baseball tomorrow for him. Of course, I've still got it for the papers, too. So I'll be pulling a little double duty tomorrow, which is fine. Mm-hmm. And then that's fine. And the visits start next weekend. So the weekend after Memorial Day, I was thinking, I don't know why. I got mixed up. I was thinking that Memorial Day was next Monday, and it's this coming Monday. So
I did too. It really threw me off with the way that everything's went because the 31st falls on a Sunday. So then everything got backed up a week. And I thought, man, this is really messing with me.
This will be next weekend, not this weekend. And they're going to be a good one. But anyway, I'll have more on that next week when they finally get finalized. I had a list, and some of them was already canceled. It's been moved. That list is never. It's always
contingent in flux.
On things changing. Yeah. Danny Beal's supposed to be here next weekend from over in Cross County.
Okay.
Big time player. He's supposed to be here. I think Gilmore's supposed to be here. Javon Gilmore, the quarterback.
Yes.
Maybe the offensive lineman too.
Is he the kid from South Carolina, the quarterback? Is he the kid from South Carolina? South Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, and I think the other Gilmore, the offensive lineman, I think he may be next weekend. I'm not mistaken. He's coming for, and I think they're going to get him, the offensive lineman out of Texas. and Gilmore. But yeah, Javon's the quarterback out of South Carolina who's committed.
Yep. Also, a quick update. I know this is not football related, but Texas and Tennessee are still knotted at 5, top of the 12th inning over on the SEC network. So
Tennessee's got runners. Is that Tennessee? I believe he's got runners on second and third with one out. Yeah, Tennessee's got runners on second and third with one out, guys.
So they're putting some pressure on Texas.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tale of two cities almost for the Razorback softball team, because if you look at what happened, Arkansas goes to Ole Miss, first SEC regular season weekend, goes in there and gets waxed. I don't think that's going to happen, because I think that Coach Deifel has got this team figured out and honed in perfectly right now. You saw what happened last weekend. They completely destroyed Oklahoma State in that last game. And, redemption is always great. And I think that that's what they're kind of looking at with Coach Deifel and that group, because you don't sit there and take it on the chin on the road and then come back. And I know that Ole Miss had to fight to get through that Tucson regional, but nonetheless, Ole Miss got through it. Now they get Arkansas. And I just don't think that Coach Deifel's team the second time around is going to be as, I wouldn't say bad, but I would say that the hits just weren't coming.
They were at first of the season. You guys, you and Dudley know more about it than me. I haven't covered it, but I do know they're a lot better team than they were that first part of the season. I mean, they looked lost, and they're a lot better now. And it's not the same Arkansas team that played them then, as you said. And I think Arkansas will be in good shape in that regional, and then I think Courtney's got them playing well.
And you got Peyton Burnham that's dialed in. You've got Robin Heron that's dialed in. You got Cam Harrison that's also dialed in. So even if something happens where they do go to 3 games this weekend, Arkansas's got 3 pitchers that they can try it out there if they wanted to. Because at this point, this is an all hands on deck situation. I understand that the regionals are kind of that way. When it comes to super regionals, that's what happens. Everybody is all hands on deck. You may see 3-4 pitchers this weekend. Maybe 5, 6. You just don't know. But at this point, it's an inning by inning situation. Tomorrow, you've got Arkansas taking on Ole Miss at Hoover for the SEC tournament. I do believe it's at 2 p.m. Is that correct, Otis?
3.
Okay.
3. 4 Central. 4 Eastern, 3 Central.
Okay. And you just don't know exactly how that's going to unfold, because you don't know the weather down there in Hoover. That was the case the first night on Tuesday night. They had to take the last game of the series and move it to early Wednesday morning. There's no telling what's going to happen. So
Tennessee's up 7-5, Jason.
Okay.
They burned them. They had runners on second, third, and they burnt the outfielder and got both runs in. Heading to the bottom of the 11th, is it? The 12th?
I think it's the 12th.
12th. Yeah, it's the bottom. Heading to the bottom of the 12th. It's 7-5 Tennessee.
Man, oh man. I mean, that might be a great scenario for Texas, though. One and done. Save the pitchers and move on. I mean,
I just don't think Texas, they'll probably win the national championship. I don't think they will, man. They have not impressed me at all. I know they're not as bad as they looked in Fayetteville, because they couldn't hit, pitch, or field in Fayetteville. And I know they're better than that. But I just don't see them being – I just don't think they're that good, Jason. I just don't.
That's surviving 12 days in Omaha, a round robin play, and also the 3 games at the end. I mean, that's set up for a marathon and not a sprint on a weekend. And I think that's kind of what Texas has been this year. And so I just don't know if I would put my money on Texas. I mean, I have been critical of the Razorbacks at the first of the season. I didn't know that they were going to have starting lineup 1 through 9 batting over 300. That completely just floored me.
As I said last week on the show, when you got Brent Iredale batting 7th in your lineup, you've got a good lineup. I don't care what happens. And then Ryder Helfrich is just ripping the cover off the ball now. Justin Thomas Jr. ninth. You can say the same thing about him when you've got a ninth hitter like Justin Thomas Jr. I mean, they're good, man. And I love once he made that change at first base and moved Cozille to second. I thought that was the best. But I'm gonna tell you where Dave has really went above and beyond this season. That outfield recruiting. That has made all the difference in the world. He got Davalon, he got Thomas, and he got Maxwell. But he also got Carson Bowles. He's got a guy sitting on the bench, Bowles, who never plays, who's a 300 hitter, better than a lot of the players on the other team. In normal season, last year, Carson Bowles would have been one of the stars of the team. But I'm telling you, man, when Dave went out, or I know him and his staff, not just Dave, but his staff, but when the Arkansas staff signed this group of outfielders from the portal, they outdid themselves. Kevin Kendall Diggs is a defensive replacement. That's all he is anymore. He was the kind of star. They wanted him to be the star in the past, and he's the left outfielder, plays a defensive replacement. And, that's nothing against Kendall. It's just the fact they recruited over it. And to his credit, he stayed with it, got a good attitude, stayed in there and does what he's asked to do. If it's come in and play defense and problem, not say Maxwell's hamstring or something, he does it, But I like, and he pinch hit here a while back. I don't remember which game it was, and he got a hit, But that outfield recruiting is where I know Aloy at DH. I get that. Iredale at third. I get that. Cozille's into, but I like when he made the change at first base. It's a big left hander in there, and that outfield recruiting. I just think that's where they probably came up short on starting pitching, but they've got some good pitchers. They don't necessarily have great starting pitchers. I like Zroot and I like James Wood. Beyond that, though, it's a mixed bag. But they've got a lot of pitchers that some days they're on. Like McIntyre last weekend, he was dialing, man, and that's what I like about this baseball team. They may not have a star pitcher outside of Root and Wood, but I don't know if you call Wood a star, but or Root for that matter. But outside of that, I don't know that they've got what you would call a starter that you can depend on, but they've got a bunch of relief pitchers they've got a strong bullpen, man. Iversies gives you innings out of the bullpen. Seems like those guys that were starting the first year outside of Root feel a lot more comfortable coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah. And that's the thing with GAC, also with like I said, Beetlejuice and Aiden Jimenez, for that matter. I do want to say, too, and a lot of folks really were busting on this dude. I did, too, at the end of last year. You got to give props to Nate Thompson. This guy goes back into the dugout now. You've got Bobby Warnes over third. And I don't know what it was, but something changed. And the constant beyond all of that change was Nate Thompson. So you have, if you're going to bust on the guy, you also got to give the guy props. And I know I've said that a few different times, but give the guy his due whenever he's out there helping these guys produce the way that they're producing, and they're coming through in the clutch of the play with 2 outs.
Well, no, the hitting's fine. Like I said, if they got Achilles heel, it's the starting pitcher, beyond Root especially. But like I said, I think they've got enough pitchers that they can get by with what's up. But the hitting, no, that's not the problem. They've had games. People point to a game when they don't hit well, and they'll point to that. But that's the truth of anybody, though. New York Yankees, they won 1-0. There's just days where you don't hit the ball. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
that's just baseball, man. That's there's days where the pitcher just don't have it. Liam Dole. Nobody will say he's not a great pitcher, but he didn't have it against Arkansas. Sometimes Zach Root goes out there and he doesn't have it. That's just the way that's baseball, man. And some days you go out there and you don't hit. But Yankees scored 1-0 today. But that's baseball, man. That's just the way baseball flows. It doesn't always go by the book.
You imagine if you would have added Hagen Smith to this lineup?
Wow. Yeah. Hagen
Seriously.
Smith, he got shut down today, too. They shut him down for a while. He's not injured, but they're going to shut him down and let him. His velocity was. He was down some his last start, so the White Sox are shutting him down for a while, Jason.
Okay.
I hate having to hear that today. Credit Phil Ellison for that. So I believe that's who said that, Phil Ellison. I heard that on the radio.
Okay. I want to bring this up too. And this is more football related, kind of getting back on. I mean, listen, football is kind of a back burner thing right now. It's not really, there's not a lot going on with it. We're also talking about some of the stuff that's going on that's more headlining on the Hill, which happens to be softball, baseball right now. But Sam Pittman sat down with Pete Nakos of On 3 and talked about the contract situation. And I don't understand why he would bring the contract up just because this is going to be a pivotal season for Sam. I mean, there's no bets that he's going to end up being the coach at the end of the season. I mean, right now, I feel more comfortable saying that now than I did this time last year, because you have turnover on the offensive line, which they said they're going to be better. You've got a quarterback that's coming back under Bobby Petrino in the second year. But the thing is that it's still that schedule. That's the real bugaboo that I have personally. I think there might be some change of mind when we finally get to see these guys in pads in fall, and see how things kind of start to line up whenever they are able to start, and Sam puts it starting to thud a little bit. But over the next couple of months, Taylor Green has got to go out there. And I know that Sam had also said that after the Tennessee game, he really wasn't right for the rest of the year. And I mean, we all saw that. You look at the Ole Miss game where he got his knee busted up. You look at the LSU game, knee again got busted up. A&M, for instance, he was not as ginger, but I know that was before the Tennessee game. But whenever you got a quarterback that's got a bad wheel and half of his toolbox is running, that's where I have that's where you saw him having so many problems. I think it's the confidence factor too. I think that if he's able to really start to come through with the confidence factor, that ball is going to be different coming out of his hands.
Down goes Texas. 7-5. I don't like Tennessee, but I like Texas less.
That's all I got to say right there.
Yeah. Yep. I just won't give you the sign they gave me when I did that to that truck of Texas fans that day. I gave them the downward sign. They gave me a one finger sign back. Even though
one finger wave.
Finger.
The single flag salute.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Sam has got to do, and I know that Bobby also, they have got to game plan this to where they keep Taylor Green upright inside the pocket and only make it to where he's escaping if needed, and make him more of a pocket passer on first and second down. Because whenever you have him running for his life on first and second down, I think that's where you start to see the third and longs. And whenever you get into that spot, then the defenses can pin their ears back and go after him. Yeah.
I tell you an interesting conversation I heard. The betting is 5.5 wins, over or under, and that's what's out there from Vegas. 5.5 wins, and everybody's taking the under. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go over. I think they'll win 6 or 7 games. I really do. I know the schedule. I picked them to win 8 last year. I won't pick them to win 8 this year.
Yeah.
The schedule was easier. They were pretty much guaranteed 3-1 in non-conference last year, and they're not this year. If you get to 3 wins, though, if you do beat Memphis and you beat Arkansas State and you beat Alabama A&M, that gives you 3. Then all you got to do to be over is win 3 SEC games, and I think they can. I haven't looked at. I haven't broke it down and made my prediction yet, but I can tell you it'll be 6 or 7 wins, Jason. It won't be 8 like last. And I took some. I don't know why people were critical of that 8, because hell, they should have won 8. They should have. They were in it. Yeah. Beat Oklahoma State. Nobody in their right mind is going to say they shouldn't have beat Oklahoma State. Well, then you got A&M. You fumble on the 10. Missouri. You fumble twice in their territory. Even Texas.
Yeah, they were into the very end of Texas.
And they go in and score there. Who knows? And so you had 3 games. All you had to do is beat Oklahoma State and win one of those other 3. Ole Miss kicked their butt. LSU didn't kick their butt till after. It was 5. It was It was 16-10 the third quarter with 5 minutes to go, and they got that cheap touchdown, and then Arkansas quit, and then LSU did pour it on. But
Yeah.
Ole Miss, the only team just poured it on them from the beginning to the end. But
yeah, that was a because I know that Sam talks about this too. He says, you got there's always that one game that you shouldn't win, and you end up winning, and there's that game that you just have to really chalk it up to as just that's a bad game. That was that Ole Miss game because everybody in the stands they saw it. I mean, hell, Jackson Dart was on.
That's another thing when you talk about the over on the 5.5 win. Yeah. In 21 they beat Texas. Last year they beat Tennessee. There's always somebody that they beat, nearly always somebody that they beat that you don't think they will go in on preseason picks. And yeah, it was Texas and it's Tennessee last year. I mean, there'll be somebody, if they beat this year that you probably think they should. Now, what they've got to avoid doing is beating themselves with these turnovers. And if they do that, they can easily win 6 or 7 games, but I don't care how tough the schedule is. But they cannot give the ball away and continue. And Taylor was one of the culprits. I love Taylor. He and I are friends, but I love Taylor. But let's be honest, he and Quindon cost them with turnovers. Can't do that this year. But I do think he'll have a better offensive line. I'm not going on the hype from the U of A. I'm going on with what I've seen. I talked to, I'll tell you, Hugh Smith told me last Sunday that Shaq McCoy was the biggest kid he's ever seen.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some mountain man before.
He was just the biggest lineman he's ever. He said he's good, real good. That's what he was telling me. He's committed to Arkansas.
No, I was going to say because the reason why I bring that up is because I was looking the thread that Wilson Hogg had started on Hogville, and that was where this kind of all originated from was with the NACOS interview, and Sam had talked about with the whole, the contract situation. And I know that there's folks that, they could give a rat's ass about the contract. Others that they dig in there and they try to find the contract specs on the internet, for God's sakes. And at the end of the day, Sam's always said he's going to fulfill his commitment whenever he signed his extension. And if it doesn't happen, if the university doesn't want him anymore, he's not going to just sit there and claw his way and try to stay here. He said, if they don't want me here, I'll go. That's fine. But I don't know why they would bring up contract situations because, one, there's no coaches in the University of Arkansas this year. They're going to be getting raises. Hunter Yurachek has already said that on the Razorback One Roadshow. Also, all these universities are wait and see mode. They really are wait and see mode because they don't know how litigation is going to affect scholarships. They don't know how. We also know that they have to get the roster trimmed down. I think Otis is at 105 now. Is that the max?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the universities are trying to find out exactly how that's going to play their hand. They're already preparing for it. And so they know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen on this football for sure. Nobody does, but I do think they'll win 6 or 7 games. As I said, I maybe not. It's going to be harder than it was last year, and they only won 6 in the regular season last year. But as I said, they gave the Oklahoma State game away, completely gave it away. And there'll be a game like that this year but I don't think they'll beat Notre Dame, but I think they can win the other 3. But Memphis is going to be an important game for them because if you lose that to get to 6, you're probably going to have to win 4 SEC games, and it's going to be tough. And I don't know.
I said, yeah, it will be tough because I think that with Memphis, though, I think that it's going to be an easier road with them because they've got a new quarterback. Seth Hennigan is no longer at Memphis. He's termed out. So you got Ryan Silverfield that's going to be looking at he's bringing in another quarterback. So that might be something that Arkansas can kind of hang their hat on as far as getting after on the defensive side. That might be a helper at that point. But again, playing at Memphis so early in September, it doesn't bode well. So for fans, at least, because there's no shade. There is nothing in that stadium that is going to block you from the sun other than a hat. Really, that's about it. So,
Yeah.
well, Otis, let's get you out of here, man. Tomorrow, you got Razorback softball at 11 a.m. and then you've got Razorback baseball 3 p.m. Make sure to tune into those. Otis, you're going to be at base. You're going to be at base. We're going to be covering baseball tomorrow. Dudley's got softball. I got softball on Saturday, and Dudley's got baseball on Saturday as well. So, y'all.
I've got baseball for the papers, for Hogville, for the Pig Trail Nation, and I'll have it tomorrow. I'll have an advance in the morning, and I'll have the game story, obviously. And Arkansas, I think Arkansas beat Ole Miss in both sports, but I'm talking baseball now. But I think they'll win. But I think Arkansas is going to win both of those. I'll tell you the team, though, in the SEC that scares me in the SEC tournament is LSU.
Always. Jay Johnson, I don't know what it is, but whenever it comes tournament time, he has that switch that he can just flip on, and those guys just turn it on.
Texas just got beat. So people talking about Texas. I never was worried about Texas. I think Tennessee be tough out again. But to me, the team that scares me more than any team is LSU, and we'll see how. Got to get there first. They've got to get there, and Arkansas's got to get there. They get A&M. I think they'll beat A&M. This will be A&M's third game tomorrow when they play LSU. They're going to be tired. Anyway, yeah. Okay, man. I'll see you. I'll see you sometime. If nothing else, I'll see you next Thursday.
All right. Sounds good. Y'all take care and go Hogs. Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchy's Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchy's is the place. Torchy's location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchy's has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchy's has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.